Hidden beneath the waves and carved into remote coastlines, submarine bases are some of the most secretive and strategic military facilities in the world. Join me, we're going to dive into the mystery of 15 secret submarine bases, starting with number 15, the Yulin Naval Base. The Yulin Naval Base on Hainan Island is located in the South China Sea, and it's one of China's most secretive and important military installations. This remote base, which is shielded by rugged terrain, dense forests, and notably underground facilities, it plays a central role in China's naval defense and deterrent strategy. Its location southwest of Hong Kong in the South China Sea, a critical body of water for shipping and geopolitics, provides China with a crucial strategic advantage. Despite being an island, Yulin is relatively accessible by naval vessels, but its inner infrastructure is highly protected. It's built into the natural terrain to reduce the risks of attack, and civilian access to the base is extremely limited, if not right out impossible. The use of the underground spaces for military assets isn't unique to China, but in 2023 an image surfaced of a Type 093 submarine entering one of the underground tunnels at Yulin. This is a rare sight captured by a commercial satellite from Planet Labs. It immediately sparked intrigue. This image was seen as a James Bond moment for many, evoking imagery of spy films with secretive underwater bases. However, this is a reality that China has deliberately constructed to protect its military assets. Number 14. Severomorsk. Severomorsk, located on the Barents Sea along the Kola Bay, is a closed city in the Murmansk Oblast region of Russia. Known as Venga until 1951, it served as the primary administrative base of the Russian Northern Fleet, making it one of the most secretive and important sites for Russia. Situated 16 miles northeast of Murmansk, Severomorsk is a significant naval hub, notable for the subarctic climate and position within the Arctic Circle. The area's history dates back to the 1920s when a timber procurement office and supporting infrastructure, and its role as the main naval base for the Russian Northern Fleet, and it's placed under tight security and restrictions. Because the town is closed to the public, details about operations here are sparse, adding to its mystery as one of the most secretive naval bases in the world. In addition to that naval importance, the area does have some of the most advanced and largest dry docks on the Kola Peninsula. Those docks are crucial for maintaining Russia's fleet, particularly its nuclear-powered submarines, which are central to Russia's defense strategy. Number 13. Clyde Naval Base. His Majesty's Naval Base Clyde, located in Scotland, is one of the most closely guarded military installations of the United Kingdom. It's often referred to simply as Fastlane. It's a pivotal component of Britain's national defense strategy. The base is situated on the eastern shore of the Gare Loch, which is about 25 miles west of Glasgow. The location was chosen during the Cold War due to its geographic advantages. The secluded yet deep navigable waters provide secure anchorage and allow for and ensuring the security of the nuclear arsenal. The base operates under strict security protocols. As a designated closed site, unauthorized access is virtually impossible. The surrounding area is monitored by advanced systems, and access to the base is heavily restricted, with armed guards and physical barriers at all entry points. Even personnel working on site are subject to rigorous security checks and constant monitoring. These measures, combined with the secrecy surrounding the base's operations, have earned Clyde a reputation as one of the most impenetrable military sites in the world. Number 12. The U.S. Navy Acoustic Research Detachment. The U.S. Navy Acoustic Research Detachment is one of the most secretive bases in the country. Situated in the remote town of Bayview, Idaho, on the shores of Lake Pend Oreille, this base plays a critical role in the development and testing of subs and naval technology. Lake Pend Oreille is Idaho's largest and deepest body of water, and it's the ideal setting for the ARD due to its quiet, undisturbed conditions. At a depth of about 1,150 feet, the lake is deep submarine technology used by the Navy, especially when it comes to underwater acoustics. A large portion of the testing occurs in the intermediate scale measuring system. Now that's a 1,000-foot diameter circle on the lake bed where hydrophones are placed to monitor the performance of submarines or components. Access to the ARD is tightly controlled. The base's research is classified, and personnel working there are highly restricted with stringent security protocols surrounding the testing operations. Its location in Bayview, with its remote nature, does help to maintain its secretive status, and Bayview itself has a population of fewer than 500 people, making it an unlikely location for such high-stakes military operations. The continuous quiet and isolation of the surrounding area further ensure that research remains hidden from outsiders. Number 11. Olafsfjord. Olafsfjern is a former Royal Norwegian Navy base located in Norway near Tromsø, carved into the rugged Arctic terrain, hidden beneath 140,000 square feet of living quarters and 32,000 square feet of dock space. A notable feature here is its 1,100-foot dry dock capable of accommodating 6 submarines simultaneously. The entire base is accessed through a 3,000-foot tunnel, which opens into an extensive underground network of docks. The facility is protected by its location within a mountain, which shields it from aerial surveillance and provides insulation against extreme weather. The base was equipped to house advanced research facilities, making it a hub for technological innovation. And after its decommissioning in 2009, Olafsfjern was sold to a private company. Sale included the possibility of repurposing the base for civilian uses, such as oil rig maintenance, but the base's subsequent use by Russian-linked companies raised concerns about potential espionage and security risks. Number 10. Sea-based X-band radar. The sea-based X-band radar is a floating, self-propelled mobile radar station created to support the United States missile defense efforts. It operates with 45,000 transmit-receive modules and can track objects from over 1,200 miles away. Its ability to discern warheads from decoys, a critical function in missile defense, is what makes it a significant asset in the defense system. The SBX-1's ability to travel across the Pacific makes it a versatile asset for missile defense. The radar system, however, has not been without its challenges. It's failed to intercept test targets in certain tests and faced some issues with its software and mechanical components. Nevertheless, the radar has contributed to the U.S.'s ability to monitor missile threats. Getting close to the XBS-1 is extraordinarily difficult, not just because of the secrecy surrounding it, but also due to the challenging geography of its deployment. Adak Island, where it's nominally based, is isolated and difficult to access, adding another layer of protection to the radar system's operations. The vessel's movements are not widely shared, and its maintenance schedules and operational duties are closely guarded secrets. Number 9. Subic Bay. Recognized for its advantages, providing sheltered deep waters capable of accommodating large ships, including submarines. This has made it an ideal location for military assets that require secure and protected waters. The area's history dates back to the Spanish colonial period, when it was first identified as a potential naval port in the 19th century. It became a prominent base after the Spanish-American War, with the U.S. Navy taking over control in 1899. The Americans built out extensive infrastructure, turning Subic Bay into one of their primary bases in the Pacific. By the mid-20th century, the bay housed a naval air station and substantial marine facilities. Access to the area, especially to the former naval base and its restricted zones, remained controlled and difficult to penetrate, primarily due to its continued use for military purposes. The U.S. Navy and allied forces have continued to use the bay for logistical, maintenance, and refueling stops, especially for submarines and other high-tech military vessels. This level of confidentiality 20 miles north of Hood Canal Bridge. It acts as a critical last stop for Navy ships loading food, fuel, and munitions before heading out into the Pacific, including long deployments as far as the Persian Gulf. The base spans an area of about 4.3 square miles, and it's home to more than 100 ammunition storage magazines, colloquially referred to as igloos. These structures, made of concrete and designed for storing conventional weapons, range from the small storage units requiring manual handling to larger ones equipped with forklift access. The island's also equipped with 1,600-foot-long pier capable of supporting vessels up to 55 feet of draft at low tide. The Naval Magazine Indian Island is frequented by a variety of military ships, including aircraft carriers, destroyers, guided missile subs, and U.S. Coast Guard vessels, along with commercial barges. For instance, loading submarines with torpedoes can take up to 6 days using specialized equipment such as cable-end pulley systems. The island also houses the U.S. Department of Defense's largest container crane. Moving on to number 7, the Zapadnaya Litsa. Zapadnaya Litsa is a highly secretive Russian naval base located on the Kola Peninsula near the Norwegian border. It's part of the Russian Northern Fleet, and it is a significant fleet in the Russian Navy. It's positioned within the Litsa Fjord, which is about 120 kilometers from Murmansk. The facilities are closely associated with the operation and maintenance of nuclear subs, making the base critical to their nuclear deterrent policies. Winters here are severe, with the area experiencing about 43 days of polar night each year. Now, this isolation and inhospitable terrain, characterized by rocky ground, swamps, and numerous rivers, makes the base highly difficult to access. Historically, the area was initially developed in 1939 under the name Basis Nord as part of their expansions during World War II. However, the base became obsolete after the German invasion of Norway in 1940. Malaya Lopatka, the first facility constructed, became known as the Submarine Base Bangor. Naval Submarine Base Bangor is a critical U.S. Navy installation located on the Kitsap Peninsula in Washington state. It serves as the primary home for the U.S. Pacific Fleet's Ohio-class Trident ballistic missile subs, which are key to the nation's nuclear deterrence strategy. The base is known for its remoteness, extensive security, and its vast underground infrastructure, making it one of the most secretive facilities in the U.S. Bangor was originally established in 1942 as a site for shipping ammunition during World War II, and the U.S. Navy purchased about 7,600 acres of land on the Hood Canal for about $18 million, laying the foundation for the ammunition depot. By 1973, the Navy selected Bangor to serve as the home port for the Ohio-class Trident subs. This base was officially activated in 1977, and soon it became the sole home port for the Pacific Fleet's Trident subs. It houses the Strategic Weapons Facility Pacific, which maintains and stores the security. Given the base's critical role in national defense, any leaks of its operational details or security could have severe consequences. The U.S. Navy has made sure that only a limited number of personnel have access to the sensitive areas of the base, and any public information about the facility is minimal. And hopefully they're not coming after me. Number 5. Cape Wrath Naval Base. Cape Wrath, the northwesternmost point of mainland Britain, is a remote headland in the Scottish Highlands, housing the Cape Wrath Training Centre. The Ministry of Defence-owned site spans about 23 square miles, and it serves as a training ground for NATO forces. Separated from the mainland, Cape Wrath is reachable only by a passenger ferry, followed by a single-track road that dates back to 1828. This terrain is dominated by peat bogs, locks, and steep cliffs with limited infrastructure. Access is tightly controlled, particularly during training periods, when observation posts and sentry stations are operational. The military use of Cape Wrath began in the early 20th century, when nesting seabirds, including puffins and razorbills. However, the site's dual role as a military range and ecological sanctuary creates tension, with occasional fires and noise impacting the local animals. Incidents in 2002, like a misfired shell which landed near inhabited areas, and the 2008 fire underscore risks associated with live fire exercises. Cape Wrath's broader landscape is part of the Northwest Highlands Geopark. That's a UNESCO-recognized region encompassing about 770 square miles. What sets Cape Wrath apart, though, is the inaccessibility and the tight control of information. Limited access roads, sentry posts, and the unpredictable scheduling of exercises makes it nearly impossible for unauthorized people to enter or get any information. Number 4. Harvey Point Defense Testing Activity. The Harvey Point Defense Testing Activity is located in North Carolina. It's a classified U.S. Department of Defense facility. This site has played a critical role in military operations as a training ground for elite military units, including DevGRU, commonly known as SEAL Team 6. The FAA designates the airspace around Harvey Point as restricted, barring civilian aviation traffic. The peninsula is accessible only by a few roads, which are heavily monitored. Perimeter defenses include fences, cameras, and armed patrols, while entry is strictly limited to authorized personnel. This isolation, combined with its designation as a special use airspace, underscores its role as one of the most secure facilities in the U.S. Harvey Point's often compared to its sister facility, Camp Peary in Virginia. Both sites serve as hubs for intelligence and counterterrorism training. However, while Camp Peary is widely associated with CIA training programs and colloquially known as the Farm, Harvey Point is more closely tied to high-impact explosives and field operations. Together, these facilities form a network of critical infrastructure supporting U.S. defense and intelligence ops. Number 3. The INS chambers, where submarines can move without surfacing. This reduces the chance of any detection by satellites or patrols, and this place spans about 7.5 square miles and can house at least 10 nuclear subs, including the Erhant class and the new S-5 class vessels. Modern underground docks, repair yards, and command centers will ease the Navy's logistical burdens, which have grown here as a mixed-use port. Security is key at INS Varsha. The area is under tight restrictions, and natural barriers limit any unauthorized access. Submarine movements remain hidden thanks to advanced stealth measures and deep chambers, and round-the-clock surveillance adds another layer of defense. Visakhapatnam has long served as the Eastern Naval Command's primary base, sharing the port with commercial traffic. However, they can cause delays and congestion. INS Varsha solves that issues by providing a dedicated facility for submissions. This separation streamlines their ops for both surface and underwater fleets. But beyond improving logistics, INS Varsha is a strategic response to shifting regional conditions. China's Naval 26 at a cost of about $3.7 billion. Once complete, INS Varsha is set to be a key element in India's maritime strategy, allowing a deeper reach and faster response across vital sea corridors. Number 2. Naval Base Point Loma. Naval Base Point Loma in San Diego, California is one of the U.S. Navy's most secure vital installations. Military clearance is required for entry, and the base operates under tight protocols. Surveillance systems, patrols, checkpoints, they're constant fixtures here, ensuring the area remains inaccessible to any unauthorized personnel. The military presence here at Point Loma dates back to about 1795, when Spanish forces began constructing Fort Guajaros at Ballast Point. And by 1845, the site had been abandoned by Mexican forces, and in 1846, U.S. Navy Captain Samuel DuPont claimed the area during a Mexican-American War. Following the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848, Point Loma formally became part of a U.S. territory. In operations and related activities, and in 1998, the base was consolidated with 6 other naval installations under the designation Naval Base Point Loma. Point Loma is home to Submarine Squadron 11 and other submarine commands. It plays a really important role in housing, maintaining, and deploying nuclear-powered subs. The bathyscaphe Trieste, a pioneering deep-sea exploration vessel, was stationed here at Point Loma in 1958. Its successor, the Trieste II, operated from the base until 1984. In March of 2023, the base gained international attention when President Joe Biden visited alongside the Prime Ministers of Australia and the United Kingdom to announce a trilateral agreement to supply nuclear-powered subs to Australia. Even military personnel require specific clearances to access many areas within this base. Its status as a nuclear sub-hub adds another layer of security, with protocols designed to safeguard both the vessels and the sensitive information associated with their missions. Number 1. Camp Century, Ramos to assess the feasibility of deploying hundreds of nuclear missiles under the Arctic ice, providing the United States with a strategic advantage during the Cold War. The extreme remoteness of the site, about 150 miles from Thule Air Base, offered natural protection and secrecy. Camp Century faced immense operational challenges. The dynamic nature of the ice sheet caused tunnel walls and ceilings to shift under the immense pressure, threatening to collapse sections of the base. Greenland's extreme climate with sub-zero temps and relentless winds made life and maintenance arduous. By the mid-1960s, it became clear that Project Iceworm was unviable. The movement of the ice was unpredictable, and maintaining a stable launch system for nuclear missiles in such an environment proved impossible. In 1967, the base was abandoned. While the nuclear reactor was dismantled and removed, hazardous materials including radioactive waste, chemical pollutants, and biological remnants were left behind under the assumption that they would remain entombed by the ice indefinitely. The base lay hidden for decades until 2024 when